Hey guys, um, so I'm going to be kind of winging this presentation because I kind of left my notes for the stuff that I'm going to be talking about at school. However, you'd think that as long as I've been teaching theme, I ought to be able to teach it pretty well without having to look at my notes, but we shall see. So if I'm totally confusing, write down some questions to ask tomorrow in class. So this is theme and theme only. Theme always has to do with literary selections. It is like the main idea of literature. So it's going to be kind of the same strategies that we talked about with main ideas, where you're looking for something that's a big idea and you're looking for something that connects to all parts of the text. The first thing you need to be able to do, of course, is to recognize that that is in fact a question type and it's what you're looking for. Um, Keywords for theme, you might see the word theme, you might see message, you might see the underlying idea, the lesson, or the moral. Usually if it's a moral, it's going to be based on a fable, and that is not in your standard course of study for 8th grade, so chances are pretty good you're not going to see that. Usually the question is going to be worded something like one of these four that I've listed here. You want to know the lesson that this person's learning, the message that the author wants the reader to know, the author's message. It kind of ties in together with author's purpose. So basically what you're looking for is the big idea that's kind of behind everything else that the author wants the reader to remember. Make sure that you know what a theme looks like. Themes are not going to be character specific most of the time. They're worded as a generalization. It kind of sounds like somebody giving you advice, like the author of the book is giving you advice. It's a general statement, based on what this character learned. This is how people should act. It's a universal truth is what a theme is. So make sure that when you're looking for a theme answer, that it looks like a piece of advice or a universal truth. It doesn't look like just a detail out of the story. Some of the common themes that you're probably going to see, the more common ones that pop up in adolescent literature on the 8th grade EOG, are things like overcoming challenges, facing your fears, embracing your individuality, change, charity, acceptance, friendships. And some of those themes might be worded in the ways these sentences are worded. That facing challenges can teach you about yourself, that you should learn from your mistakes, that you should stand up for what you believe in, that it's really hard for people to accept change to begin with. You should share what you have with others, you should accept others and not judge them, you should value your friendships and your family. These are the kind of statements that the usual literary selections that they put on the EOG have as their main message. So what you're looking for, you can kind of see the way these are worded. They're not character specific. They're not specific to the story. They are a big idea that can be connected to the different story elements. Just make sure that you're not being fooled by good enough, because most of the time they're not going to give you a choice, an answer choice that is just a detail. It's going to be worded like a theme. A lot of them are going to say, whoa, hey, that's a good idea. I agree with that statement. I do that. But unless you can base it on the story, unless you can back it up with the text, it's not right. All of the choices are going to sound good to you, but you have to make sure that you choose the one that can be connected through the entire selection. Even if, it might be mentioned in some part of a story, but if it can't be connected to the entire thing, then it's probably not the theme. One good way to find the theme is to ask yourself questions. If one of the answer choices is step up and take on a challenge, you'll be better for it in the long run. Well, ask yourself, does the main character face challenges? If so-and-so doesn't face challenges, there's my phone. If the character does not face challenges, then chances are pretty good that's not going to be the answer, because that character didn't learn that particular lesson. Does this character face a difficult situation? How does this character handle a difficult situation? If the character internalizes the lessons that he or she has learned and moves on and becomes a better person because of those difficult situations, you might be able to connect that as a theme. However, if he or she has a total meltdown and doesn't do very well with it, then that's probably not the theme, because the message the author wants you to get is probably not that if a difficult situation arises, you should have a total meltdown. Does the main character learn to appreciate his friends? So reword each statement into a question. See if you can answer it yes or no. If you can answer it yes, it might be the answer. If you can answer it no, then it's probably not. Act as a lawyer. Build a case just like you did for main idea. Today in class, we went through and searched for text evidence to support each statement. Sometimes that's the best way to do, even with theme, because like I said, theme is the main idea of a literary selection. So if you're looking for a theme and you're not sure, you've got a couple that you're kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's this one, maybe it's this one, which one has the stronger case? Look for text evidence that will support them. Again, just make sure you're not picking it just because it sounds good or because you agree with it. You have to be able to back it up. You have to act as a lawyer. So, an example question for theme. You might see, which of the following best states the theme of To Kill a Mockingbird? Which both classes have read, so both classes should be able to answer this. A, appreciate the time you spend with your friends. B, learn to see from someone else's point of view. C, avoid taking on more than you can handle. Or D, winning is the most important thing. All of these things do come up in To Kill a Mockingbird. So let's start with answer choice A. Appreciate the time you spend with friends. Well, Scout does appreciate the time that she spends with friends, but there's never really a point in time where she doesn't appreciate spending time with friends. She looks forward to Deal coming every summer. She enjoys the time that she spends with Jim. She even kind of sort of values the time that she spends with Walter Cunningham when he comes to eat lunch with them from school. So there's never really a time that she doesn't appreciate her friends. So that's an unsupported answer choice. Does Scout learn to see from someone else's point of view? Absolutely. After Atticus gives her the statement, you have to learn to walk in someone else's skin, she really tries to do that. She does that with Mr. Cunningham. She does that with Walter. And then in the end, whenever she finally internalizes that lesson, is whenever she's standing on the Radley porch, she's looking down the street, and she's able to literally stand in Boo's shoes for a few minutes and see the things the way that he sees them. And because of that, she understands that he's not a bad guy. So that one is definitely supported. Does Scout learn to avoid taking on more than you can handle? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, Atticus kind of gives her the lesson that you should take on more than you think you can handle, because chances are good that you will be able to handle it in spite. Do you want to wave? Yeah? Alright. Here. Come here. Wave. Here's Ian. Okay. Go on. Go clean up your room. And then, so kind of the opposite of that one is supported. That is definitely an unsupported theme. Or D, winning is the most important thing. Well, Atticus loses the case. He knew he was going to lose it to begin with. Matter of fact, whenever Miss Dubose is, whenever he sends Jim and Scout to learn the lesson from Miss Dubose, he says, I wanted you to learn a lesson about courage. Courage is starting something even though you know you're licked, and carrying it through to the end anyway. That's true courage. So I don't think he would say that winning is the most important thing. I don't think Scout would say that either. That's definitely an unsupported answer choice. So if you talk yourself through there, you can see which one has the most text support. Learn to see from someone else's point of view. That's how you do it. That's what we've been doing all year. That's what you're going to have to do on the EOGs. Make sure that you have kind of looked back through this a couple of times. Make sure you know what a theme question looks like. Make sure you know the keywords that you're looking for. Look back over the selection that I gave you in class today and see if you can kind of pick up on what might the theme be. Could you make a general statement? Be prepared to maybe toss around some ideas when you come into class tomorrow. And I think I did all right without my notes. If you have any questions, make sure you write those down too, and we'll go over them tomorrow whenever you get to class. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow.